Do you know the difference between a woman who just looks elegant and one who truly is? The first posts the look, the second cultivates hobbies that don't even fit in a caption. And no, I'm not talking about Instagram yoga or self-care Sunday with face masks. I'm talking about the secrets that make some women remembered decades after a conversation. If you want to discover these invisible codes of sophistication and stand out among all other women, then you need to subscribe to the lucrative Elegance channel, hit the bell and leave that like because I'm Carol, and here we're going to unveil the hobbies that transform ordinary women into unforgettable icons. Now answer me honestly, when you meet someone at a party, what can they talk about? The latest reality show episode, the stories they saw, or their children's dramas? Can you talk about something that doesn't involve social media? Because I have a theory. We live in an era where entertainment became a hobby and hobbies became, well, infinite scrolling. But truly elegant women? They cultivate activities that whisper class without shouting wealth. And before you say I'm being elitist, let me tell you about Marie Claire, a French woman I met in a small bookstore. She didn't have money for Hermes, but when she entered a room, even women in Chanel stopped to observe her. The secret? She played harpsichord, practiced calligraphy for 30 years, and collected first editions of poetry. Talking with her was like being invited to an 18th century literary salon. This brings me to the first hobby that separates refined women from common ones: calligraphy. And no, I'm not talking about a pretty font on Canva. Calligraphy is an art that requires precision, control, and design sense, three qualities that scream sophistication without saying a word. Women who practice calligraphy are perceived as detail-oriented, patient, and rare, exactly like family jewels. Grace Kelly embroidered while filming Hitchcock's Rear Window, transforming breaks into moments of refinement. Imagine receiving a wedding invitation handwritten with perfect calligraphy. Wouldn't you keep it as a treasure? It's exactly this type of personal touch that communicates refined education and well-invested time. What do you create with your hands? The second hobby I found in all elegant women I studied? Needlepoint or embroidery? Before you roll your eyes thinking this is grandma stuff, let me talk about Emma Stone. Yes, the Oscar-winning actress. She's fanatical about needlepoint and always brings her projects to film sets. Needlepoint is considered the definitive preppy hobby for grand millennial style lovers. Why? Because in an era of instant gratification, something that takes months to complete becomes extraordinarily valuable. It's like wearing a vintage Rolex. The invested time is visible and respected. Blair Waldorf always had a needlepoint project while Serena threw herself into chaos, and we know which of the two had more class. Now, let's talk about something that might seem controversial: equestrian sports. No, you don't need to buy a horse though. If you could, it would be magnificent. Equestrian sports resonate with many women, echoing fairy tales and childhood dreams of grace and beauty. Being an activity that transcends sport and promotes a deep connection with nature, there's something almost alchemical in how a woman transforms when she learns to ride. Posture improves, confidence increases, and there's a natural elegance that develops. Keeping horses requires stables, trainers, and veterinarians' expenses that reflect wealth, but basic lessons at equestrian clubs communicate the same social code. Does your weekend make you more elegant or more exhausted? Chess deserves special mention as an aristocratic hobby. I'm not talking about playing online against strangers, but frequenting elegant chess clubs where matches happen on fine wooden boards and conversations flow. Chess develops strategy, patience, and mental presence, three qualities that reflect in all areas of a sophisticated woman's life. Competing in high-level matches with other chess players connects you to a millennial tradition of strategic thinking. It's a hobby that communicates refined intelligence and planning ability, attributes that make any woman stand out in any environment. Collecting art or antiques is another fascinating hobby that communicates exceptional cultural discernment. Acquiring fine art is not just a demonstration of wealth, but a mark of refined aesthetic education. And I'm not necessarily talking about Monet. You can start with vintage prints, artisanal ceramics, or first editions of classic books. What makes this hobby fascinating is not just the financial potential, but also the educational aspect. Beginning collectors can become specialists in their areas of interest, learning about different historical periods and cultures. It's an elegant way to invest in knowledge and beauty simultaneously, creating infinitely more interesting conversations than the latest Netflix releases. And here we arrive at something that will shock many of you: wine tasting. This sophisticated culinary activity allows women to appreciate differences between different wines, improving the palate and deepening appreciation for grape varieties and wine regions. I'm not talking about drinking wine while watching series. I'm talking about truly studying and understanding this millennial art. A woman who knows how to choose a wine, who understands pairing, and who can intelligently discuss terroir? That's a woman who will draw attention at any sophisticated dinner and be remembered for decades. You know what fascinates me? How some women manage to enter any environment and immediately be treated with special deference. It's not just the clothes, it's something more subtle, deeper. It's the result of years cultivating refined interests. Now, about that course I developed, Look Rich Without Spending Much. Do you know why I created this course? Because I realized that many women try to buy elegance in shop windows when they actually need to cultivate it in their souls. The course has a promotional launch value because I'm releasing the classes gradually. Once it's complete, the price will rise to full value, without discount. This isn't just a course about fashion, it's a complete guide about the visual, behavioral, and social codes of wealthy women. I teach how they carry themselves, how they choose their clothes, and mainly, how they cultivate their interests. It's about transforming not just how you dress, but how you're perceived and treated in the world. Because in the end, elegance is about how others feel in your presence. The link is in the description. Returning to hobbies, I can't fail to mention refined gardening. And I'm not talking about any gardening, I'm talking about the art of cultivating David Austin roses, creating sophisticated floral compositions, and understanding botany. Refined gardening communicates stability, free time, and aesthetic sensitivity, everything that screams high society without saying a word. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is known for her passion for gardening and is frequently photographed in her gardens. Charlotte York arranged flowers with perfection in Sex and the City, and those scenes were pure visual elegance. There's something deeply feminine and refined about a woman who understands flowers, who knows how to create beauty with her own hands. Gourmet cooking also deserves special mention. Experimenting with different cuisines, techniques, and presentations allows expressing refined creativity, whether creating delicate pastries or preparing an 8-course French dinner. But attention, I'm not talking about following TikTok recipes. I'm talking about really studying regional cuisines, understanding classic techniques, and knowing how to present a dish as a work of art. A woman who can prepare an elegant dinner for 8 people without panicking? That's a skill that never goes out of style and immediately distinguishes her from others. It's the difference between serving food and creating a memorable experience. When was the last time you created something truly beautiful? Now, let's talk about something more contemplative: astronomy. You can practice this hobby anywhere, as long as you have a clear night sky with bright stars. Imagine being the person who can identify constellations on a romantic night, or who understands lunar phases and can intelligently discuss the cosmos. It's a hobby that connects with something greater than ourselves and adds an almost poetic dimension to personality. There are surprising social and health benefits in stargazing, besides being an activity that costs little but impresses profoundly. Handwritten letter writing is an almost lost hobby that deserves to resurge. I'm not talking about little notes, I'm talking about true letters, written on quality paper, with fountain pen, thought out and constructed like small literary works. This hobby refines vocabulary, perfects gestures, and creates genuine human connections in a digital era. Imagine the impression you make when someone receives a physical letter, handwritten, with your personal reflection about a book you read together. It's a gesture that marks forever and communicates refined education rarely seen today. Artistic photography is another hobby that separates the elegant from the common. I'm not talking about Instagram selfies, I'm talking about truly understanding composition, light, and visual narrative. It's a way to document the world's beauty in a sophisticated and personal manner. Think about the difference between someone who takes photos with their phone and someone who really understands photography. The second person sees the world differently, captures moments more poetically, and develops a refined aesthetic eye that reflects in all their choices. The study of classical or rare languages also communicates incomparable intellectual sophistication. Mastering French fluently, reading Russian literature in the original, or understanding Latin are investments in one's own intellectual elegance. It's a type of refinement that no designer bag can buy. A woman who whispers a few words in French during conversation, or who quotes Tolstoy in the original, that's a woman who invested in her own sophistication and will be remembered for decades. And here's something that might sound provocative: organizing intimate dinners with cultural themes. I'm not talking about barbecue with friends, I'm talking about hosting 6 people for a French dinner where each course harmonizes with specific wines and conversation flows about Renaissance art. It's social sophistication in its purest state. While most spend Sunday watching TikTok dances, truly refined women are learning French, organizing themed dinners, or studying art history. The difference is visible and felt by everyone around. What kind of woman do you want to be remembered for being? Bridge or other intellectual games also deserve highlighting as hobbies with aristocratic tradition. Bridge specifically is a game that requires strategy, memory, and social elegance qualities that transfer to all areas of life. Frequenting bridge clubs connects you to a tradition of social refinement rarely seen today. Porcelain courses, fine ceramics, or ikebana arrangements offer a unique combination of art, patience, and connection with millennial cultural traditions. These are hobbies that develop aesthetic sensitivity, manual precision, and cultural knowledge, all communicated silently through the pieces you create. What do all these hobbies have in common? They require patience, dedication, and refinement. They're not activities that produce instant results or that serve to post on social media. They're long-term investments in the woman you want to become. And here's the secret that truly elegant women know. Elegance is not about having, it's about being. It's about cultivating interests that make them more interesting, skills that make them more capable, and knowledge that makes them wiser. When you develop these hobbies, you don't just become more elegant, you become women that others want to know better, want to be near, and want to learn from. This is feminine power in its purest state, because it's built from the inside out. Because in the end, anyone can buy an expensive dress, but only some know how to embroider by hand, properly taste wine, discuss Renaissance art, and organize a dinner that guests will remember for years. And these are the women who never go unnoticed. Imagine a woman with clean nails, a French book in her purse, embroidery on the living room chair, a wine chosen with criteria, and a presence that whispers elegance. That woman can be you. You just need to start cultivating the right hobbies. If this video resonated with you, consider becoming channel sponsors through the membership club with values starting at $4.99. Click the Become a Member button and help me continue creating content that truly transforms the lives of elegant women. Now tell me in the comments, which of these hobbies caught your attention most? Do you already practice any of them, or are you ready to start a new adventure in elegance? Remember, true elegance is cultivated, not bought, and you, my dear ones, deserve to be extraordinary.